talked about this last time, but we were in a little bit of a hurry, so I just want to make sure when we're talking about. So to me, I think when we first started this months ago, we talked about like nail angle and right hand displacement, and now we're talking about the engagement and the speed stuff. To me, scales is like kind of a. It's like in the same way that like you have your primary colors and then you have the mixing of them. To me, scales are kind of a mixing of those concepts, which is why I started with those. Like you want to know you want to decide what displacement you want to use and what setup of the guitar you want to use. Then you would work on scales.
Yeah.
So
that's accurate.
Here's my question is, we talked a little bit about shifting, and you said last time that you want to make sure that rather than reaching with the fingers, you're using the displacements to move the fingers.
Yeah, a
to
little
shift
bit.
from
There
one
will be a
string.
little kind of, reaching. Like when you're going from the 6th string up, there has to be a little reaching. But you still use the hand to accommodate.
So maybe put it another way then, you want the main driver to be the displacement, but the fingers are going to reach a little bit.
A little bit, they have to. Because it's the same reason why in here, you're not reaching because you're pulling the hand out and it's already leading you towards that Jason lower string. That's already leading you. So it's much easier. But when you're doing the other way around, there's no movement because the movement is going in this direction. Unless I'm doing thumb, then that leads in that direction.
Yeah.
But because the movement is here, you unavoidable has to reach a little bit. In that concept, for example, this idea of playing with a fixed position like that is a little easier for the reaching out, ascending versus this. Yeah. Here, because of the angle of the wrist, you accommodate, and then you're already on the first string.
Yeah, there's also, when I look at it from my angle, when we're at the other one, you kind of had to reach, whereas when it's straight, you're just kind of...
Correct, because the finger is closer, because of the angle.
Do you ever use that kind of drop wrist, deviated wrist for free stroke too? For the same reason we discussed?
Less, because when you're free, you're not. When you're doing rest, the last note is keeping you anchored here. When you're doing this free, it's a lot easier to transition. And the answer to you is yes, I do, but like not as much because it's a little thinner, the tone. But yes, here, see. Of course, if I find my nails slightly different, it will accommodate that better. But here I have more body and more resistance, you see? And because I'm not staying behind, I can move with the last note. Then you do this, bring the thumb out. Again, to stay close, because if you keep the thumb where it is, then you have to change the angle here. If I do this, I keep the same distance of the knuckle from the string. See what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus this.
Yeah, it's hard to keep the same tone consistency as you use with the shifting times.
Correct.